Know Jack has been one of my favorite trivia games since it came out in the 90s. There has been many different versions that have come out through the years, from the computer games to a full-out TV show. It was different and new, and it played like a game show with crazy categories and questions. Plus, most of the questions were read to you, and that was somewhat uncommon for games in those days. I was really excited to get to play it on the Wii, not only because I got to play the game again, but because I got to show my kids this series. Unfortunately, I forgot how hard the questions would get at times, but for the few games I did play with them, they seemed to enjoy it. Although truthfully, I think they enjoyed watching me play it more. The game is played out like a game show. You have to answer 10 questions and a final money-making round to see how much money you can accumulate. There is no real bonus for winning lots of money unless you care about your stats. This title can be played with up to 4 players, or as little as 1. This is one of those rare trivia titles that it's actually fun to play single player. Mainly that's because the questions, while they may sound crazy, are actually quite challenging and enjoyable to answer.
Suppose I Can't Believe It's Not Butter comes out with a 5 stages of grief line of products. After I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, which product would come next in the line? I'm very angry that it's not butter. I've lost all hope because it's not butter. I've come to terms with it not being butter, or I'll do anything to turn it into butter. Player 2? I know, I've been there. But look, margarine isn't the end of the world. A lot of people have eaten it and turned out just fine. Player 1. In the Kubler-Ross model of grief, the 5 stages are denial, followed by anger, then bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I have to be honest, I'd totally buy a product called I'm Very Angry That It's Not Butter. Especially if they got Mel Gibson for the commercials, and he was yelling at a piece of toast.
When you're playing with more than one player, one of the things I like about this game is that you will all lock in your answer. It's not a game of who buzzes in first. Everyone gets a chance at money. The controls only use the Wiimote. Now, most of the time you'll use a directional pad to choose your answer. Only once in a while will the A button be used to answer a question. Once everyone is locked in their answer or time is run out, they will tell you if you're right or not. The amount that you will win or lose is based on how quickly you lock in your answer. When you're playing in a group, you'll get a screw, which you can use to screw over one of the players. It'll force the player to answer the question in 5 seconds or less. If the player gets it wrong, the screw will show them who the boss is. But if you somehow pull off a victory on the question, the screwed will become the screwer in the stomach of your tormentor. Satisfying. One of the best parts of this game is that the questions were not always laid out the same way. What I mean is that you'll never know what kind of question's coming. It might just be the normal crazy kind, or it could be a dis or dat, which will have you choose between 2 categories, and you match up which one goes with which. Or a guest might show up to read the question for you. Or many other things could possibly happen. So the gameplay is always mixed up a little bit in every episode. At the end of 5 questions, the round ends. And then round 2 starts up. At that point, they double up the points for the next 5 questions. After that, you go into a final question round, which is called the Jack Attack. You match up 2 things that should go together. After this round, the game adds up your score and sees how well you did. And then it's over. There are over 70 episodes to play. And since it takes about 10 minutes to finish each game, that means there's a little over 700 minutes of gameplay to enjoy. You see how I did that math? That was public school learning for you. Go America! Woo! Now, there is a major disadvantage to this, and that's if you want to replay an episode. The questions will be exactly the same, but there is some incentive in replaying an episode, and that's if you miss the hidden prize. In the beginning of the game, they will tell you there's a sponsored wrong answer of the game.
Today's wrong answer of the game is brought to you by Romantic Clip Tandem Toenail Clippers, because the couple that clips together stays together.
The clue to knowing which one it is in the name of the sponsor. When you see that answer come up in one of the 10 questions, you choose it. Even though it is the wrong answer, you will win the prize of the episode. One of the most disappointing parts of this release is the complete lack of online play or downloadable content. This title seems like it would have been a perfect candidate for having online play, but other than that, the game is great. You Don't Know Jack was a very fun return to a great trivia game of the 90s. Its fun atmosphere and entertaining questions made it fun to play for hours. This title would be an absolute hit if you had a party over to your house. And the price they're asking for right now of $30, while I may think it's $10 too much, I do think it's still worth a buy.